that anything that you have in your staked wallet or your family stake is still safer, or is that vulnerable at the same time?
That is kept outside of the game until
Sure.
you manually decide to deposit it once we go live.
But sure. No, that comes back out. Oh, you mentioned vesting periods. You want to dovetail into that at all on the wiki, or just that's still TBD?
Yeah, so basically I can give a little bit of a hint, but obviously creating a massive release of a large amount of supply at a concentrated time period is never really a good idea. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out a way where we can either make some user options, or we can make some sort of automatic vesting periods, or we can make some sort of further incentives to actually utilize it going forward, right, and just keep it inside. So we are focused on trying to offer a solution that everyone is thinks that benefits them, and anyone can decide what they want to do. But we obviously need to have some sort of mechanism that protects 30% of the supply to just be liquid at a point in time, right? I think that makes sense for everyone.
Oh yeah, no, it's not only a staking ladder, but I mean, obviously on the gift tech side, we do a lot of things that make things deflationary for a purpose. And how does that binded utility create a benefit on both sides of whatever you're doing with the creation on inflation side? So it makes perfect sense. But just to recap on that, just for everyone watching, the 2000 MAFIA that you're going to be putting up is your deposit for your character with one life. Then anything that you have staked clearly will have a vesting period or be returned. Now, based on what happens in game, is there any more of your MAFIA that's actually at risk in the game, or is just your deposit your deposit?
Yeah, only when you decide to bridge it in. So the way we're going to build it is we're going to build what I call the in-game bridge, the MAFIA bridge. And it's actually going to be like bridging capital to Pulse Chain and bridging capital out of Pulse Chain. So you have a complete overview of what is actually at risk and what is outside of the game, and what is not at risk at all times. So we will make this more clear in some of the coming updates. We have already the layout done, and we already have the kind of the starting and the initial part of the codes done. I think it will be done this week, and we will upgrade it so people have a better idea of what is at risk, both now but also in the future with the staking. Because a lot of feedback that we have received is actually that a lot of people are worried to sign up to this because they immediately feel like someone can rock their wallet, or just, and I feel like that's, for me, it's easy to understand that is not the case. But obviously it's because I know everything what's going on, and I need to understand and see it from another person's point of view, where it feels almost risky to actually create a profile, right? If you have a big bag of MAFIA.
Right. Well, there needs to be a separate of church and state, if you will, between the in-game MAFIA that you're using to play versus the one that you're speculating or holding in reserve, which also is different technically than the one that you're bringing in to create the inflated version of the dollar from a family bank. Did those things change? I can't remember exactly. That, staked MAFIA is technically how the only cash can go to a family. Clearly, you can get the in-game money from heist crimes or in-game actions. But when game goes live in live service versus early access, will the family bank be changed from its staking parameters?
Yeah, we will do some updates around that, and we will figure out how we will integrate the MAFIA token directly into the game, because one thing is the direct deposit of MAFIA into the protocol. The way that I'm envisioning it right now is that when the game goes live, the only way to get capital into the game is through either buying a key or using MAFIA. So everyone who wants to get money into the game and get the in-game currency, they need to go through the MAFIA token, and that, I think, will become a important part after we are going live. At some point, we are also looking at readjusting the tax rates based on maybe we don't need so aggressive tax rates, simply because we have third-party opportunities for basically resources generating for the vault, right? We have already seen on the site right now, you can check the resource chart, and we have actually seen that the key sales themselves has already surpassed the tax entire system of tax generated by all of the sales since inception, right? So that just shows that you have a utility project where you can add on a piece of utility that suddenly becomes the main driver of the entire economy, right? And that is quite incredible, I think.
No, it really is too. It really is. And then, like I said, it's just very fascinating to see all this happening and unfold in real time, and what further use cases for that particular metric model, which has a value outside the game, but also it has a value inside the game, and how that reflexively affects everything else. Everything's binding loops and reinforcement loops, or balancing loops. So it's really fascinating how you're all putting this together. With the ability for other people to understand that may not have more technical minds, whether you understand the crypto side or more gamification minds, but also letting people that just have fun, sometimes who want to just play a Candy Crush or something like that. And it gives all those opportunities, as long as it's just expressed on how it all works together.
Yeah, I really think that this, this entire narrative around the vault is so powerful, because you have this very clear number that everyone just has a shared understanding that this is what the players can get, and you have this very clear list of people and exactly what they're gonna get each week, right? And I think that is kind of a very drawing narrative where you have this central bank that will literally pay anyone just as yield for playing. And that is something new that we are bringing to, I think, the market with this game, and hopefully this vault will grow so big that it simply can't be ignored. Right? Already now, I think it has performed quite well, and I'm sure that before we get to actually launching the entire game, this vault would be of sizes that probably no one had imagined.
Sure. Well, it also
I
has.
think.
Go ahead, sir.
So I think on our Don stream, I think Gifford estimated, what was it, 20 billion pulse. I think that was the highest from all the guesses at that time. And I mean, we can see the way things are speeding up. I mean, it's extremely achievable. It really is.
Sure. And it also goes back into the game on how, let's say, the taxman works. It's a very good balancing loop on keeping all the assets in the game. And then again, what Brenton was just asking is that the cash that's inflated from right now be staking is actually in-game family currency. In-game family currency can be given to other players, not just the PLS earned. So there's two different equilateral ratios of how those things can be bound together, because you can't inflate the MAFIA token, right? It's only 1 billion tokens. But the in-game currency itself can be inflated by staking the external currency, which allows that to be bound to something else. So,
the in-game currency has 1,000 ways of inflating, because literally every single action in the game inflates the currency. If you make a successful crime, if you make a successful sell of smuggling or booze, anything you do almost that is not on the roulette or the slot machine, because there you are winning from some other player, right? But anything else is literally just successful inflation from the protocol itself. And that is also the way that users can actually earn capital from this game. Because if you create a user for $2 and you spend your time doing this and you are successful, you could sell that capital, you could sell that in-game currency for MAFIA and just bridge out of the game and pay the tax, and I think that the way also I can see the question from Brenton is that, yes, there will be a chart between the in-game cash and the MAFIA, but something that is extremely important to understand is that the in-game cash will almost always inflate versus the amount of MAFIA that is getting deposited, right? Because the inflation of in-game cash happens through actions, and the deposits from the MAFIA token is only from people who want to basically inflate it directly. So they are depositing the MAFIA that only someone can withdraw out from the in-game cash. So basically the way you have to look at it is, you are only protecting your capital if you can beat the inflation rate. In other words, you have to be in the top 50% of those that are playing. Otherwise, you're losing out to the inflation from the MAFIA token you bridged in, actually.